Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be going over backtesting a day of the week strategy, where the objective is to find a pattern of when to buy and when to sell based on the day of the week. So in this script, you'll be able to backtest 3 different types of scenarios. The first is just a buy and hold. The second and third are conditional, where the first condition is if the close is below the open, it'll give us a buy signal. So we're buying the dip. Whereas the second scenario is where the close is higher than the open, so we're buying the rally. So we're going to take a look at these 3 different scenarios and compare the returns. We're going to start off by requiring some packages. Here we assign the ticker, so our ticker for this backtest will be OVV. So we'll go ahead and run that, along with getting price information from Yahoo Finance. Next, we calculate the buy and hold returns for the stock, and then we're going to assign the days of the week. Now I'm going to use expand grid to calculate different combinations. So if we run that line and take a look at combo, these are the possible combinations. So buying on a Monday, selling on a Monday, buying on a Tuesday, selling on a Monday. Now if the closing day falls on a holiday, we're going to exit the following day. But for the most part, it'll keep the sequence. So we have a total of 25 different combinations. Now let's take a look at our first function. So our next function is called next weekday, where we insert a date and get the next business day. So for example, if our date is a Monday and I want to find the next Thursday, this function will return the next target date we want. So let's open up this function. So it's going to start off by assigning that date. We then need to create a sequence of dates using the date we passed in for reference and adding 14 days by 1 day. We then convert these dates into weekdays, so it'll return a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And we then match that with our target date. So if we want a Thursday, it'll return the next available Thursday. And if that date is a holiday, we're just going to go ahead and add 1 day. And once we find our target date, we're going to go ahead and return that. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this function and run it. All right, so for the first backtest, we are calculating the best combination for the buy and hold by passing in our combinations of dates. So let's open up this function and let's go ahead and scroll up. So for each row, it'll extract the day of the week. That's located in the first column, so this will be our buy, and the second column will be our sale date. We're going to go ahead and print that out into the console. So for the very first row, it'll be Monday and Monday. We then locate all the Mondays in our stock data. We're going to extract our index, and then we're going to use that index and pass it as a list. And then this is where we calculate the return. So we subset our stock data by our index that we pass in. So that'll give us the stock price. We need to find our closing date. So we're going to use our function next weekday by passing in that date and retrieving the next available weekday. So that'll give us our close date. We pass that close date into our stock data to get the closing price, and then we calculate the simple return and convert that as an XTS object. So since this gets returned as a list, we need to drop our empty list and then row bind our results to get an XTS object. We're going to format the column names and then finally just return that XTS object. So let's go ahead and minimize this. I'll go ahead and run this. Once that's done running, we need to merge our data. We're going to add the buy and hold returns to our table. We need to fill in NAs with 0, since those are the dates we didn't trade. So I'm going to go ahead and run these 3 lines. Now for each of the columns, I'm just going to find the cumulative return. So I'll go ahead and run this line. I'm going to order these by highest to lowest, and then I'm going to print that out into the console. So let's take a look at the returns. For the simple buy and hold, it looks like the best combination was buying on a Monday, selling on a Friday. This is the cumulative return, which beat our simple just buy and hold of the stock. So now let's go ahead and plot the cumulative return by using charts performance summary. So let's go ahead and plot that. All right, so the black line is the best performer, which again is buying on a Monday, selling on a Friday. But it looks like the majority of its return has come in the recent years. Now let's get the year-to-date returns. So I'm subsetting for this year. I'm going to reorder and we're going to take a look at the plot. So it looks like the Monday through Friday strategy is outperforming the buy and hold of the stock, but not by much. Now let's try and see if we can get better returns by applying a condition. So let's go back to our script and let's scroll up. All right, so for the next backtest, everything stays exactly the same. The only thing that changes is inside our get return function, where we apply the condition that if the stock price is less than the open, we're going to return the stock price, which means that we want to buy it. Otherwise, it'll go ahead and skip it. So essentially, we're buying the dips. And then if the stock price is not an NA, we're going to retrieve the closing date and calculate the return. Everything else stays exactly the same. So let's go ahead and minimize this and run it. And then after that's done running, we need to merge all of our data, add the buy and hold returns, add zeros for NAs. So let's run this block. We will then find the cumulative return for each of the columns. I'm going to reorder from highest to lowest, and then we're going to print out the returns out in the console. So let's go ahead and run that. Take a look at the console. Now it looks like the Monday and Tuesday is the best combination, still beating the adjusted returns. Now let's plot the returns. So it looks like we only have one combination that's slightly outperforming the buy and hold, and that's only if we're buying the dip on that particular day. Now let's take a look at the returns when we buy the rips or the rallies. Let's go ahead and close this out, and we're going to go ahead and scroll up, and we're going to go ahead and open up this function. And again, everything stays exactly the same. The only thing that changes is this condition. So now we're buying if the close is greater than the open. So that's the only thing that changes. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this and run it. Again, we're merging the data, we're adding the buy and hold return, filling NAs with zeros. So let's run that block. Now again, for each of the columns, I'm going to get the cumulative return, order from highest to lowest, and print that out in the console. So let's go ahead and run that and take a look at the console. So it looks like we get a better performance buying the rips than the dips, as we get more cases of outperformance than just the buy and hold. Now let's take a look at the returns in a plot. So I'll go ahead and run these two lines. I don't really like this drawdown, but it looks like we're still outperforming using the Wednesday to Wednesday and only buying the rips. Now let's compare all three strategies and see which one has greatest return. We'll go ahead and run this block, and we'll take a look at the console. So for the buy and hold, it looks like the best combination was buying on a Monday, selling on a Friday. We got a 400% return compared to just buying the dip, where the close is lower than the open on a Monday and selling on a Tuesday. And then we compare that against buying the rip, where we buy if the close is greater than the open on a Wednesday and sell it the next Wednesday, which has gained a total of 500% compared to the 100% of just buying and holding. So it looks like there's some alpha if we use the day of the week against just buying and holding. So you can use the script to test multiple stocks. I'll go ahead and provide a link down in the description area where you can find this script. And if you're a Patreon member, I'll go ahead and include another script where we just pass in the tickers, and it'll go ahead and return the days of the week along with the returns for those combinations. So if we take a look at an example, I ran this for the first 250 constituents of the Russell 2000 ETF. I'll go ahead and read the returns in and subset only those that the strategy was outperforming the buy and hold strategy. So if we run that, take a look at that table. So it'll give us the return, the day of the week combination. BTD is buy the dip, BTR is buy the rip, the buy and hold return along with the ticker. Well guys, this concludes the video. Please let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.